Hi, biology students. These are lessons for September the 22nd and 23rd. So basically, we did two main things today. After our bell ringer, which you definitely need to click on and do, we went to, I passed out a paper and we are going to practice our lab practical. So remember, there are 3 grades for this unit. The first one is the ecology project. The next one is the ecology test, which is on Canvas and it's multiple choice. And the third one is a lab practical, which is going to be on paper, and you are going to kind of show how we did some of our labs and activities that we worked on this unit. And so you're going to show that you can do those problems. So we better practice them before our lab practical. So the first paper here is right down here, lab practical practice problems. And if you click on this link, you will get this Google Doc. So let's look at it. So there are 3 problems on this short exercise just for practice. And there's number 1, you're just supposed to label 2, 3, and 4 as what they're actually called. So there are 3 problems on this paper, though. So number 2, it says estimate the population size of oak trees in this forest, and this is the information you're given. So the grid is the forest, and in each of these grid samples, random samples, hint hint, are the number of oak trees. So in this square, we counted 15. In this square, we counted 8. In this square, we counted 13, etc. And so the steps of doing this kind of estimation sampling or population estimation through random sampling is number 1, to go ahead and count, the trees in your random samples. So we sampled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're going to count the number that you get here. Okay, so 15 plus 14 plus 8 plus 13 plus 6 plus 20. And so when you get that number, then you're going to divide it by the number of samples you have. So then you're going to take adding all these up together, divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, divided by 6, and that number will give you the average number of oak trees in every one of these little grids or squares, the average number, just from your random sample. And then you take that average number and multiply it by the number of grids you have. So you're going to do that for this problem and then separately for this problem. And down here, so we have trees, oak trees, mulberry trees, but down here we have a different type of problem where we were estimating the population of coyotes in an area. And so they originally marked 20 coyotes, then they released them in the population. Then over 6 years, they trapped this many over the 6 years, and then the number trapped with a mark were there. So the formula is right here. Total trapped, that would be these numbers added together, times number originally marked, that would be 20, divided by total number recaptured with a mark, and that would be this number here when you add all these together. Make sure all of your answers have units. So, if this number is, 25, don't just write 25. Write 25 what? Coyotes. Okay? So that's not the answer. And then for number 1, it just says to write the population estimation method next to the problem. So what method did we use? What is this? Okay, because it is a sample that we took randomly of oak trees in 6 different grids. And then down here is a similar method where we randomly sampled 5 of those grids. And then this in number 4, we actually marked originally, and then we recaptured. So we marked and we recaptured. So that should give you the answer for those blanks right here. Now, the last part of the class, so we did that for about 20 minutes. That should only take you, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 minutes to do, especially since I told you how to do it. The last part of the class, we work on our ecology project. And so I'm going to find that and click on it and pull that up. So here is the rubric of the guidelines for the ecology project. You can also have access to this. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger because I know you're probably doing it on a Chromebook, which is tiny. So we've already done part 1. Make sure you've completed that. We've already done part 2. Make sure you've completed that. And part 3. Part 3 is what we worked on today. So identify 15 organisms from 3 different kingdoms that live in the biome with their common names and pictures. So a common name is like a black bear, a smallmouth bass. It's just like what we would call them. And then their picture also, and then identify them as an RK strategist. So specifically, you're going to do A through E. So these 15 are the same thing as these 15, okay? So I think this is 15. 3 and 4 is 7. I hope it is. 4 is 11 and 2. It is. So if you look at and total this up, you get 15. So what I would do is start at like letter C, identify at least 4 secondary consumers, or you could also look up primary consumers within your ecosystem. So basically what it's asking is what herbivores are in your, that would be letter B. What herbivores are in your ecosystem? And then if you look them up and find what they eat, you can write those producers, the plants that they eat, on this first slide. And then on the second slide, you've got your primary consumers, and then what eats them might be your secondary consumers, and what eats them might be your tertiary consumers. And so like I would start with letter B or C and build in both directions, if that makes sense. Because what you're going to do with this is make it a food web. So you want to get plants and animals that actually are predator and prey for each other, if that makes sense. So except the slide E where you identify 2 decomposers, and those don't have to be a part of your food web. So anyway, number 2 is assemble your organisms into a food web. Do not copy a food web from the internet. You have to make your own from these organisms that you picked. And so you're going to make your own food web and just make it on a slide, insert arrows, and I can help you with that if you need it. Use a different color arrow to highlight one food chain within the food web, and it has to have 10 organisms. It doesn't have to have all 15. Certainly don't put your decomposers in there probably, but probably A through D, those organisms, and you just put the same pictures you used. And lastly, you make an ecological pyramid for your biome. So I would Google energy pyramid template or energy pyramid blank, and then you will get a bunch of pyramids, and you can pick one of those and then fill it in with the pictures you have from numbers 1 and 2. Anyway, and you can follow the directions here. List the trophic levels for your the trophic levels and the individuals within each trophic level. Indicate the percent of energy available at each trophic level, starting with 100% at the bottom. And so that's what you're supposed to do for part 3. If you're finished with part 3, you're welcome to read into part 4 and go on to it. So due dates. Your ecology project is due October 1st and 2nd. So that'd be the A day and the B day. And then your test, because that's when we're going to present those October 1st and 2nd, that is next Thursday and Friday. So you only have like 2 or 3 class periods left for this. I think it's after today it'd be 2 only. And then your test is October the 5th and the 6th, and that's also an 8A and a B day. And that's a Monday and a Tuesday. So email me with questions and I'll be glad to help you out. Thank you.